Are we live? Are we live? We are live. What is up? What is up? And welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, coming at you for our first live main card breakdown. UFC Iowa. Cory Sandhagen taking on Deivison Figuredo. If you're noticing something different about this, we are currently without Cody, so that's a bummer. But hold on a second. Are we live? Are we live? It says we are. Let's see if we can refresh this. Yeah, I don't know if we are. But Cody got sick today. He came down with an illness. He sent me his picks, so we got that in. We got that taken care of. But I'm a little all over the place. This is our first live on the channel, so we're just figuring this out, making sure everything's working here. I think it is. Not our first live on our channel, though. We had a watch party. Anyways, we're here. We're talking UFC. Iowa. Des Moines, Iowa. What a place to go. Hell of a destination. And the card that they give us for this, absolutely stacked. I mean, kick things off with Cory Sandhagen taking on Deivison Figueredo. We're going to break it down the whole card, give you our bets just like we do every week. Only difference is we're live, so if anyone wants to drop in chat, we're going to chat with you. But Cory Sandhagen, Deivison Figueredo, barn burner at 135. Then we got RDR, Reiner de Ritter. He's taking on Bo Nickel. We got double champ from one championship versus Bo Nickel. Three-time All-American NCAA wrestler. Absolute beast the guy is. So, fun-ass card. You got Montel Jackson coming back. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel D. Rodriguez. Jeremy Stevens making his UFC debut or return after his absence. He went on a bit of a skid, went and did some boxing, had a draw with Jose Aldo, did some BKFC, knocked out Eddie Alvarez, doctor stoppage. So he's making his return in his home state of Iowa. It's going to be a fun card. We got some prospects on it. We got Misha Tate on there. She's taking on Yana Santos, Jillian Robertson, Marina Rodriguez. Tough winner, Ryan Loder taking on Azmat Bakayev. Fun card, and we're breaking it all down today. But this is Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. We got a beer for you today. We picked it up from Aldi's. It is tropical pineapple. So that's what we're rocking with today. And yeah, we're just going to jump right into whatever we're jumping into. We got to go over our bets from last week. I'm all over the place. This is a mess. But nobody's in here, so it don't matter. It don't matter. We're here, though. And yeah, our bets from last week. Cody, he went up big, plus 1334. Me, myself, and I went up plus 994. Both hit on 100% of our bets. Doing great. Both creeping back towards a big number positively. And I am at plus 2386 year to date. Cody is sitting at plus 4224. So $1,000 up each week. We just keep our profits on the count, and we're doing pretty damn good. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into this. We're going to start with Cory Sandhagen. You can tell him off my rocker. I don't have Cody here keeping me on track. It's throwing me off just a little bit. But we got Cory Sandhagen taking on Deivison Figueredo in the main event of this. Cory Sandhagen sitting at about a minus 600 favorite. Coming back at plus 400, Deivison Figueredo. And it makes sense. When I think about this fight, I don't see many paths to victory for Figueredo. You look at Cory Sandhagen, he's bigger, he's got the reach, he's younger, he's stronger, more active as far as the strikes thrown per minute, strikes thrown in general, his output. And he's really improved his wrestling game lately, his grappling. He can actually take you down, he can stop takedowns. Deivison Figueredo, his path to victory is going to be the wrestling, get you down and try to take the neck. He's got a nasty squeeze, but I just don't see him being able to do that to Cory. Cory's going to keep him at range. He's going to be able to defend the takedowns. It's a pretty clear-cut decision for me here, so I think I'm rocking with Cory on this. Not a lot to put into it. I know that with Deivison Figueredo, there's been pictures circulating where he looked a little bit out of shape earlier this week. They said it's from this week. We don't know if it is, but that's always something to give you a little bit of concern. And he's 37. He's been around the block. He had those 4 wars with Brandon Moreno. I think it's Cory Sandhagen's time. He seems to be able to beat these guys that are right outside the top 5, just not in the top 5. And then where do you go next if you're Cory Sandhagen at 135? A lot of people are going to say give him Merab. Maybe because Merab's probably going to beat Sean O'Malley. win or lose for Sean O'Malley and win or lose for Cory Sandhagen, unless Sean gets the belt and Cory loses here. You got to do Cory versus Sean next. That's the fight to make. That's just a fun fight. Two tall, lanky strikers at 135. Both dudes are going to be not trying to wrestle each other. It's just a fun fight. These dudes have been on a warpath forever, and it seems like it's a fight that we might not ever get just because they're on opposite ends of the division at any given time. So that's a fight everybody wants to see, but nobody's getting to see at this point. So we'll move on to the co-main event of the evening. Reiner Day Ritter coming into enemy territory, trying to invade the U.S. Bo Nickel sitting in the center of the U.S., Des Moines, Iowa, trying to say, no, you get out of here. You get out of here, my friend. Bo Nickel, like I said earlier, 3-time All-American NCAA D1 wrestler at Penn State, almost made the Olympics. Dude's a beast. But since coming to the UFC, he's been a little bit underwhelming, I think. Especially the last fight with Paul Craig, just really couldn't pull that trigger. I don't know if this is the fight for him, because a guy like RDR, he has so much experience. Both of them are great grapplers in their own right. RDR's a jiu-jitsu guy, Nickel's a wrestler, but RDR's an absolutely elite jiu-jitsu guy. And I know Paul Craig is too, but there's differences. RDR uses it in MMA a lot better anymore. And I could see this being kind of a trick fight for Bo Nickel. He has to cut 41 pounds this week. Huge weight cut for him this time around. RDR's the bigger guy. He's taller by a couple inches. He's awkward. He's going to be doing a clubbing style. He's not going to be trying to just technically strike with you. He might fall and trip Bo Nickel and just end up on top. I don't see him submitting Bo, but I could see him getting a TKO, maybe a club and sub. But I think RDR's a live dog here, especially with the weight cut from Bo Nickel, how he looked last time out, uncomfortable in the striking. I'd like to see him prove us wrong, go out there and wrestle, because he's going to need to wrestle. I don't think RDR is submitting him off his back, but I think this is a live odd or live dog for RDR. Live dog. But with that all being said, it's also, last fight Bo went out there. He said that he's going to be trying to show his striking off. That beer is delicious, by the way. It's tropical pineapple. We got it from Lockins tropical pineapple. We got it from Aldi's, and it's delicious. But backtracking, yeah, Bo Nickel. It's just one of those things where, was last fight just him trying to only show the striking, or is there something he's afraid of in the jiu-jitsu? Is he not really the MMA fighter that everybody wants him to be? Transferring from wrestling to MMA, sometimes it doesn't always translate very well. So maybe that's what we're seeing with Bo Nickel. He's got this one really great skill set and nothing else. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see more. We'll see this Saturday night in UFC Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, baby. But we move on. I think I'm gonna go with Bo in that one. But the undefeated fighter curse is a real fucking thing. It's a real thing. We had the undefeateds win last week, so they're slowly climbing back, slowly getting back into things. But I don't know. I sure don't know. So we'll move on. And if there's any fights you want to talk about, we can always backtrack, talk about it in the chat if you're here. But now we're going on to the people's main event. I don't think that's what this is. I think this is going to be a fun fight with Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. It's a pick 'em right now, -110 for each of them on DraftKings. The fight means absolutely nothing. Two strikers that are past their prime. Ponzinibbio is a great what if in the UFC with his with the injury during his prime when he was on the run to a 170-pound title shot. He didn't get there. He had injury issues, goodness gracious. But he's past his prime now. He's won some, he's lost. Coming off a nice knockout win, I think, in his last one, or a decision win. Daniel Rodriguez, kind of an unfortunate fighter. He had the issue with the Kelvin Gastelum fight where Gastelum blew weight and made him change weight last second. He loses some split decisions. Maybe he shouldn't. Guy has really good boxing. But at the end of the day, neither of these fighters are really fighting for anything but legacy. They're not going anywhere from here. So, with all that being said, with everything going on there, it's just there's not a whole lot of juice, or not a whole lot of meat on this bone, if you will. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot I don't have a whole lot of stake in this one, but it's going to be fun. The guys are going to scrap. They're going to be on the feet the whole time. Ponzinibbio, dude's fast still at his age. Chin might be a little bit gone, but both dudes are 38. And D-Rod's going to sit in the pocket. He'll eat some shots, and he'll trade back. It's going to be a fun one. Both guys, they're going to want to strike the whole time. So we're not going to have to worry about a ton of wrestling here. That's awesome. Moving on, though. Fun fight alert. We got Montel Jackson taking on Daniel Marcos. And Daniel Marcos, another undefeated fighter. Like I said, the undefeated fighter curse is real. But Marcos, 17-0. Dude's been on a tear since coming to the UFC, since starting MMA. I mean, 17-0, you got to be. And he's just a good fighter all around. Good striking, good defensive wrestling. He can submit you, but he's not looking for it. Montel Jackson, on the other hand, maybe he can't submit you. 0 subs. What am I thinking? Montel Jackson, though, dude nukes everybody, just puts him to sleep. So I think we're going to see Montel Jackson take this dude's head off, because one thing about Daniel Marcos is every fight he's in is close. Every fight he's in is a close fight, and it's a close fight where you're like, I don't know if he won that. I don't think he won that. Like, I'll look at his past couple fights. I'll just say Adrian Yanez, split decision, could have gone either way. John Castaneda, he won that. No contest draw with Arichi Lang. Davey Grant, split decision. He definitely lost that fight. So Daniel Marcos, undefeated fighter, but kind of a flawed record, a flawed showing of why he's an undefeated fighter, if you will. So yeah, I'm not sold on the Daniel Marcos guy. And Montel Jackson has been sleeping everybody. Dude's hands are literally bigger than Francis Ngannou's hands. So absolute freak of nature there. And he's just been, his last 2 fights, he's got a 3-minute, 42-second knockout of Ronnie Yahya, and then Damon Blackshear, 18-second knockout. Before that, decision over Julio Arce, JP Buys, knockout over Jay Strader. Dude's been on a tear since coming to the UFC. Has not lost since 2020 to Brett Johns. Loses to really strong wrestlers, and that's not what we have here with Daniel Marcos. So if you're not going to be able to wrestle him, it's not good to strike with Montel Jackson. It's just not. You don't want to be in that world with him. So if you are striking with him, you're fucked. It's just, you're going to sleep. Montel Jackson is on a tear right now. He's this guy that doesn't fight very much, but everybody that follows MMA seriously, when they hear his name, they're like, I haven't seen him fight in a while, but this dude's a beast, right? You go back, watch his highlights, and you're like, oh shit, this dude could be a title challenger someday if he can get active a little more than 1 fight a year like what he's been doing. But yeah, I love Montel Jackson here. Only minus 200. Great parlay piece. I love that. I'm going to be putting him in my bets this week. So Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos. It's going to be fun. Marcos, his path to victory here is to grab on, keep it close to him, hold him against the cage, lay up against him, and I don't think he has the power or the physicality to be able to do that. Montel Jackson's a better wrestler also, so with the power, with the wrestling, and I think he's going to be a better striker. I love Montel Jackson in this spot. Moving on, though. Wow, we're just flying through this. We got Cameron Smotherman taking on Sari Saidi. And this fight, 2 prospects. It's weird that this is on the main event. On the main card, when we got Miesha Tate on the undercard, when we got Jillian Robertson and Marina Rodriguez on the undercard. Weird to see it, but it's a fight that's going to be happening. I think Smotherman really surprised everybody in his UFC debut versus Jake Hadley, where he just kind of beat the dude around the octagon for the 15 minutes, gets the victory there, looked really good. But Sari Saidi, dude's a long 135er. He's going to be throwing kicks up the middle, trying to keep it at range. That's his whole thing. He's not super active. He's not super aggressive. He does throw 4.8 strikes per minute, but Cameron Smotherman's landing 6.2, so still a higher output, but you have a small sample size for both guys. I don't like to bet this one. Cody likes the over in this. That's one of his bets. We'll get into that at the end of the show, but Cody likes the over in this one. I can't hate that. Could never hate on that. But I think if you're looking at Smotherman here, he seems like the more physical guy. They're the same age, but he's going to be in his face, pushing the pace. He seems to want it more. Sadie, is an MMA fighter, but he's a striker first, and I don't think he pulls the trigger the way Smotherman will. I don't have any reason to believe it just based on the eye test, other than I got a gut feeling it's going to be Smotherman. So we're going with the US of A in that one. Cameron Smotherman, baby. Oh, man. Goodness gracious. All right. Good Lord. All right, moving on. Lil Heathen's back, baby. Back from BKFC, back from the GFL, back from boxing, back from it all. Lil Heathen Stevens is back, and he's taking on Mason Jones, also making his UFC return after a couple years out of the promotion. Mason Jones was over in Cage Warriors, went back to Cage Warriors. He's on a 4-fight win streak right now. Last UFC fight was to Ludovic Klein in 2022. Lost unanimous decision victory there to Klein. But taking on Jeremy Stevens, who's been looking good. He had that draw with Jose Aldo in boxing, knocks out Eddie Alvarez in bare knuckle. Looking good. UFC is a different sport, though. You got to be a lot more athletic. Jeremy Stevens is 38 years old, long in the tooth, 29 and 21 in his MMA career. So dude's has exactly 50 fights. This is a great story. He's coming back to his hometown, gets to fight in front of Iowa for the fans. Wild comeback nobody saw coming, but plus 400 dog for a reason. It's just when you're that old, you've been battle tested, your reflexes aren't the same. BKFC, you can do it, especially fighting against another UFC vet who's been through as many wars as you. Same with Jose Aldo in boxing, but Mason Jones, dude's a vet, dude's been around for a minute, but he's only 30 years old. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. Like I said, he's on a 4-fight win streak over in Cage Warriors, and only one decision in those 4 fights. So dude's been looking good. In the UFC, he's got victories over David Onama, no contest versus Alan Patrick, lost to Mike Davis, lost to Ludovic Klein. So, he was fighting solid dudes. Alan Patrick, I don't know about that. But, David Onama getting a win against him, that's good. Ludovic Klein, he's a beast. Mike Davis is a beast. So, Mason Jones is probably just going to be a little better, a little more athletic, a little bit more suited to the fight, a little bit more suited to the MMA game. But don't be surprised if Jeremy Stevens can draw him into a firefight and get the knockout. He's still got the power. That's the last thing to go, is the power. So, yeah, I don't know. I like Jeremy Stevens here, but I don't like him enough to throw money down at plus 400. I like him more so for the story that we have with Jeremy Stevens, where he's making his comeback to the UFC finally. He's here. It's a cool story when a guy that was never a top dude is able to work his way back. He wasn't even a fan favorite. He was kind of hated. He was also known as the who the fuck is that guy from Conor McGregor. And now he has Conor McGregor calling him out in bare knuckle. Dude's really changed his life around, changed his story, changed everything for him. And he's done it all for himself by marketing himself in BKFC, by putting himself out there for the GFL. Great company. Didn't get off the ground. Not a great company. But, dude's out there doing the damn thing, and that's all you can ask for from him. So, it's a cool story, and if he does get the victory, that's amazing. And I'm not huge on these Welsh fighters. They have it. Oban Elliott, he's a beast, but the other ones have not been turning out. You look at Jack Shore, not great. I can't think of the other ones that just haven't impressed me a whole lot. But I'm not sold on this Mason Jones guy. And since we're rocking alone here, might as well get into the prelims. I don't have anything written down here, but one prelim I really wanted to talk about that I complained about that it's not on the main card is Miesha Tate versus Yana Santos. What the hell? Girl's a pioneer of the women's MMA, and in the UFC at least, and she's the featured prelim on a fight night in Iowa in the US of A. What are we doing? Miesha Tate, she's I think this fight's going back to... Nope, she's fighting at 135 again. Yeah, she's coming off a win over Julia Avila. Lost to Lauren Murphy, lost to Caitlin Vieira, 2 top fighters. But, yeah, she hasn't fought since 2023. She's just a legend. Again, it's kind of like Jeremy Stevens. It's just fun to see him on the card, but you got to put her on the main event. it's weird. And Yana Santos, very winnable fight for Miesha Tate. Miesha Tate's got way better jiu-jitsu than Santos. Santos currently 35 years old, so she's no spring chicken as well. She's 2-3 in her last 5. Her wins are to Chelsea Chandler, so nothing to write home about. That's for damn sure. I mean, Miesha Tate, live dog here. Is she the dog? I think she's the dog. Let me check that. No, Yana Santos plus 125, minus 150 for Miesha Tate coming back. But still, Miesha Tate, I like those odds. Might throw her in my picks this week. I don't know. 38 years old, not terrible. And then UFC did the Ultimate Fighter alumni no favors this week. We got Ryan Loder, UFC, or the Ultimate Fighter winner. He's taking on Azmat Bakayev. Azmat Bakayev, he's 4 years younger, has a reach disadvantage of 4.5 inches to Loder, but Loder's a wrestler, doesn't throw a lot of strikes. While the numbers say that he does, they're a little flawed because it's a small sample size that we have for Ryan Loder. And Bakoya is just a physical dude. He throws a lot of strikes. He's got power. He's constantly shooting takedowns. Very high pace that this guy pushes. So, I mean, he's coming off a first-round knockout, and it was a scary knockout of Zach Reese earlier this year. I don't think Loder has it in him. Dude's a fun fighter. He's a grinder. Not a fun fighter. He's a grinder. He'll put you through the wash. He'll put you through the work. But I don't think that he's got it in him to get this win over Azmat Bakayev. Bakayev's so physical, so strong, good wrestler, good striker, power in both hands. I think that odds are right. Plus 300 for Loder, minus 400 for Bakoyev. You got to go with Bakoyev here. And then moving on, we got Marina Rodriguez versus Jillian Robertson. Jillian Robertson, minus 340 favorite, and that number has been shooting up this week. Rodriguez, plus 260 coming back. Crazy when you think about where Rodriguez was just a few years ago. Serious contender at 115 for the title. Now, or 115. Now, 1-4 in her last 5. Split decision to Yasmin Lucindo. Split decision to Jessica Andrade. Beat Michelle Waterson Gomez, who's not very good. Lost a decision to Virna Jandiroba. Knocked out in round 3 to Amanda Lemos. I mean, she's been on a rough skid lately. Has not beat a ranked fighter since March of 2022. So, not great. Not great things going for her right now. But, you know, everybody has a rough patch. Everybody can bounce back. So, you know, she could, but she's not going to, because Jillian Robertson, since working with Dean Thomas, absolute stud. Ground and pound, wrestling's there. She used to just be a jiu-jitsu girl. She couldn't find her way to the ground to get girls down. Now, she can hold you down. She can find that submission from the top control. She can work to get ground and pound. She was elbowing the girl in the butt last time. I mean, the girl's just vicious. She's in her prime. She's coming into her own, and I like Jillian Robertson here. The odds are what they are. Should have jumped in on it earlier this week, but you can only do so much. So, yeah, weird to see her at Marina Rodriguez fall off like that. But, you know, age catches everybody, so is what it is. Alrighty. And moving on, we got Gaston Bolaños taking on Kwong Lee. Bolaños got absolutely nuked by Lockdog. When was that? Was it Bolaños? Might not have been Bolaños. Let me see here. Yeah, it must not have been Bolaños. I'm thinking of someone else. Gaston Bolaños coming off a decision victory over Cortavius Romeus. Lost a knockout to Marcus McGee. Other than that, Aaron Phillips is his only UFC win, other than Cortavius Romeus, who just recently got cut. This fight, I'm going to watch it. Maybe it'll be a war. Kong Lee, I think he's a road to the UFC guy, if I'm not mistaken, but just not huge on him either. 32 and 33, kind of old for 135 pounds to be coming in. Yeah, he's 2-fight skid, lost both of his fights in the UFC. One to Chris Gutierrez, one to Zhao Long. I don't know. That fight's going to suck. Minus 150 for Bolaños, plus 125 for Kang Lee. That fight's going to be a rough one. And then Yeah, we're kind of getting into rough ones all throughout this card. Thomas Peterson, Dontel Mays. That fight's gonna be a snoozer, but it should be a pick'em because both guys kind of suck. Bet the over in those shitty heavyweight fights. Juliana Miller, 3-3 fighter, taking on Ivana Petrovic. Juliana Miller won the Ultimate Fighter, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. And then since coming to the UFC, she's actually lost both of her fights in the as an official UFC fighter. So just not really nothing to write home about with Juliana Miller. She's a submission artist, but that's all she's got. That's all she can do. So if she can't submit you, that's all she wrote for Juliana Miller. So yeah, I don't know. That's what I got for you as far as the main card breakdown. We got into the prelims too, because why the hell not? Yeah. And then normally with Cody on, we have him give us an over-under on the finishes. The over-under number I gave was 5.5 this week. I think we're going to go right under at 5. I think we might have snoozer this week. Hope not, but I think it might have some bad fights on it. And then grade the card. Grade the card a B+, because on paper it's looking good. 2 top 10 bantamweights. We got Bo Nickel versus RDR. Great fight there. It's just a fun fight card. We got Montel Jackson on here. It's fun as hell. I can't wait for this thing, and I'm doing a watch party for it. I'm going live, hoping people join in. I'll advertise it a little bit better than I've advertised this one, because I have not done super great getting this one out there, letting people know I was going to do it. Kind of a last-second decision to go live. Cody getting sick. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought, just jump off the deep end. We haven't had a whole lot of people. We haven't had anybody stop by the chat. So if you're here, shout me out. What's up? But, we're here. We're going to have this uploaded. We're going to be doing our damn thing. But, yeah. So, we got to get into our picks. We got to get into our picks here. We got Cody's picks first. Let me get those pulled up for us here. We got Jeremy Stevens and Mason Jones. Same game parlay. Fight goes the distance. No. Jones money line. 350 brings it back 688. Cameron Smotherman, Sari Sadie to not go the distance. 350 brings him back 735. And then Bo Nickel to win TKO. Let me see. Bo Nickel to win TKO or subs. So just finish for Bo Nickel, $300 to win $600. So total winning potential 2023, $2,000 $2,023. Goodness gracious for Cody. For me, we're gonna go with a parlay first. We got Cory Sandhagen, we got Montel Jackson, and we got Jillian Robertson. Parlay gives us plus 138 odds. We're putting 200 on it. That gives us 477. Then we got straight bet Cory Sandhagen, Deivison Figuredo, over 4.5 rounds. We're going 500 on it. Gets us 727.27. And then we got one more with, let's see here. What was the one I really liked? Man, this is a tough card to pick. Tough one indeed. I'm going to go with the over in RDR versus Bo Nickel, minus 105. We're putting 500 on it. I'm confident in that. 976 is the payout there. So that's my bets. I don't know. We're just fucking guessing this week. These are hard bets to pick this week. But we do have a climb in place. We have a climb every week. And this week, Cody and I agree. Jillian Robertson's a pretty safe bet here. Marina Rodriguez has struggled on the ground. And she's not the same fighter she used to be. Jillian Robertson's coming into her own. So we're putting our full balance on Jillian Robertson. It's about $35 on the climb. We started with $10. We're on our 5th step this week. Looking to keep moving up, keep getting better, keep climbing. Inspired by the Jed Meshew. And there's also been news this week. I don't know if anybody saw it. Francis Ngannou is allegedly hit somebody with a motorcycle, killed the girl, paid for the hospital bills. Nothing has been confirmed yet. That's what people have been saying, that over Easter weekend he hit the girl on his motorcycle and killed her, 17-year-old girl. Nothing has been confirmed by any major news outlet yet. So it's just rumors at this point, and it's been dying off, so it may have been a hoax. People seem to do that kind of stuff to Francis often. He seems like people try to take advantage of him. It's terrible. But one thing I did want to say, I did want to talk about with Cody. Cody's not here to talk about it with, but one thing I wanted to talk about was the UFC right now. They're on this road trip. They started in Vegas with the UFC 314, and we've just been rolling from there. We're in Iowa this week, Kansas City last week, going to Montreal the week after this, and then I think we head back to the Apex for Blanchfield versus Barber. Yes, but this road trip, it's just got a different feel. The fights feel different. The fans. Hearing the fans during the fight, it's different. Online, there's a different presence. The fans are more excited. The interest is peaked. And I can't help but think that Apex might be to blame for these. They might be the ones to blame for UFC star power problem with nobody being a star, because you don't get those huge moments where someone does something viral and everybody goes crazy and they get on the mic and they appeal to the crowd. You got all these people going home, getting on Twitter and being like, that was crazy. You got this video where the guy says something and the fans go wild. He says it in an empty arena and nobody gives a shit. He does it in an empty arena. People are like, that's cool, that was viral, but nobody gives a shit. You look at Joaquin Buckley a couple years ago when he knocked out Impa Kasaganai with the spinning mule kick. That happens in the Apex. So that happens, and it was viral as hell. Nobody gave a shit, though. A couple weeks later, I think it won Knockout of the Year, but again, nobody gave a shit a couple weeks later because it was in the Apex. No fans saw it. It was forgettable. People forget about things they see online that nobody else was there to witness. But when there's a big group of people, it's just this mob mentality where it's like, you remember this? Everybody remembers that. I was there for that. Were you there for that? Like, you don't get that with the Apex, but you get it when they do these road shows. It's beautiful. We're seeing you look at the 170-pound division. Shit's crazy right now in that division. It's just on fire. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, yeah, like I said, watch party this Saturday. UFC has a hell of a slate ahead for us. Let me see here. Had it pulled up. I lost it. But they got UFC 315 next week. JDM challenging Bilal Muhammad for the 170-pound title. And then we got that card's going to also have Valentina Shevchenko defending her title versus Manon Fiorot. Jose Aldo making his return versus Ayman Zahabi. Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. You got Joel Alvarez taking on Benoit Saint Denis. Canada's own Mike Malott versus Chuck Buffalo Radke. Car stacked. You got Jasmine Jasdavicius versus Jessica Andrade. Jan Kutalaba versus Modestas Bukauskas. That's going to be a sloppy-ass fight. What's up, baby? Let's go. It's just a fun card. You got Marc-Andre Barrios taking on Bruno Silva. I love the card. And then the following week, we got Burns versus Morales. Michael Morales looking to make his way into the top 10 at 170. Card's a little soft, but we get to see Sadiq Youssef and Myron Santos. That'll be a fun fight. Julian Arossa's making a quick turnaround, taking on Melchizel Acosta at featherweight. Yeah, we're rolling. And then the UFC is going to be in the Apex one more week before we got Dvalishvili versus O'Malley. Then we go to UFC Atlanta, Usman versus Buckley. UFC Baku, we got Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree Jr. Stacked card there in Baku. Rafael Fiziev versus Ignacio Bahamondes, the co-main. We got Curtis Blades taking on Rizvan Kuniev. We got Tagir Ulanbekov welcoming back Kyoji Horiguchi to the UFC. Fun fucking card. That's going to be a fun one over in Baku. UFC's Azerbaijan debut. So, yeah, things are looking great for the UFC right now. It's beautiful to be a fan at this time. It really is. We're looking good. We're feeling good. We're loving where the UFC's at right now. We love it when we're on the road, and they're going to be putting out a better and better product this year than they did last year, just because last year we saw they didn't. The past couple years, there's been no incentive. They're getting paid a flat fee for their pay-per-views from ESPN. They don't need to advertise it. They don't need to put a lot of effort in. Now we're seeing effort go back into these fight nights. We're seeing effort go into these. We're seeing effort go into all of these things that they didn't have before. We're seeing hype videos. We're seeing retirement videos for the Anthony Smiths. And it's because they have this TV rights deal coming up. They're going to be trying a lot harder. And as a fan, it's a great thing to see because we can actually have something to look forward to. We have an entity that's putting on a product that they care about again. They're getting a little PFL-esque there with they're getting a little PFL-esque with just not caring about the product, just putting it out there and being like, yeah, you're going to get what you're going to get. We couldn't make the fight happen, and that's what it is. And it was just kind of disappointing to see them do that to us. Loyal fans, people have been following this sport for years, got us through the pandemic. We got them through the pandemic, and then they just stopped caring the way PFL does, where it's just a product to make money. It seems like we're getting a little bit of soul back, even if it's not from Dana White. It's just from the UFC in general. And it might have something or everything to do with being on the road. I don't know. I truly don't know, but I love it. I love this card. Tune in for the watch party this week. Lackluster episode. Like always, we're all over the place. We're up, down, left, right, side to side, and fucked up all the beginning. But if you skip through, if you listen through, thank you. I appreciate you. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Join the Blood and Beer Discord. I'll try to get something thrown up for whatever. I don't know. We'll do something. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. To the few of you that tuned into the live, thank you to those checking in. Make sure you leave me a like on this video. I appreciate everybody. That's